that just doesn't matter. So craft the comp that you want and then look to exploit the lanes, and AHQ will play on the back foot.
All right, so into the picks and bans, AHQ ban away the Syndra, the Olaf, and a Nidalee, a couple of jungle bans as well as that very standard one in the mid. And H2K are focusing a lot more on the globals. Tahm Kench banned away, and of course, respecting the Westor TF.
Albus is a great Tahm Kench player, and you always have to ban TF against Westor. It's like the unwritten law of League of Legends, because he is very lackluster on the current alternatives.
Yeah, it's just a get out of jail free card for him, really. If he's able to play what is a pseudo control mage, good CC as well as global presence, he's going to pick that one up, and he plays it in quite a defensive manner in the early game, then just uses it to help his side lanes out.
Wow, so surprising. They're actually thinking of Karma over the likes of an early jungler like an Elise here. There's two still laning dominant supports here in the Karma and Nami available, so they could neutralize each other later. Obviously, a blue side flex pick is very useful to have, but I think the Karma first pick would be a bit of a waste.
Yeah, we have seen a few teams fall into the trap trying to flex that one and just not having near enough damage, but the Karma is locked in for HQ. This gives H2K the option to pick up some of those strong jungling picks for themselves.
And let me tell you why I think it's a big waste, because Forgiven is a very good Caitlyn player, and we know that it's a crux that he will fall back on in pressure situations like this. And Nami, as well as Caitlyn, is oppressive in the laning phase, because the passive speeds Caitlyn up into range of that first auto attack, then there's no real way to get away from the harass.
But that's if H2K opted very deep for the laning phase, and maybe after reflecting on week 1, they say, you know what, we can get by with maybe an Alistar in lane on Vander and Forgiven. Go somewhat even in CS, maybe up slightly, and then have a larger teamfight presence and more margin for error in the later stages of the game with Vander on a playmaker. That could also be a good pivot for them coming to week 2.
Absolutely. We'll have to see if they end up taking it. I mean, we've seen Jankos take 3 different jungling picks in their games, but of course they've only picked up 1 win so far. We won't see that locked in just yet because it looks like we've got the Alistar Caitlyn lane. This is exactly what Forgiven and Vander want.
Score 1 for Crepo right there. They picked the lane dominant AD carry, but they picked the utility team fighting support.
Yeah, and it's obviously a meta evolution. This is not the first time we've seen Alistar and Caitlyn paired together, so we don't have to go over the strengths. We can instead start looking at AHQ. How are they going to react? What is Anna and Albus going to play? They don't have the Tahm Kench, which is a really easy melee support to play into there. Are they going to go for the Braum later on and say, you know what, we'll match you teamfight presence support for teamfight presence support? Or are they trying to kind of break to 2v2, just like Deft and Mako did?
Yeah, we'll see whether they do that. The only other option I can really see is, you know, maybe you go ANX styling and just like the Taric holds up okay in the laning phase, can keep you topped off against what is a very long range AD carry, and we will beat you at the late game because we have the superior ultimate in terms of invulnerability.
But it does look like AHQ is already looking towards the future of the mid to late game with a hyper mobile composition here. Karma, Sivir flex into the bot lane could just guarantee you free push into this melee support, have enough control that at least you have a pressure point in the bot lane. Then they could look for maybe even an Aurelion Soul in the mid lane if Westor has picked it up. Because remember, that's a champ that's still available. Some of the strongest mid lane mages are off the table.
And it's a champion that Chowie was playing a lot in solo queue as well. We saw that that was something in his rotation that he was practicing along with the likes of the Rise. So if this isn't something Westor has picked up, then there's bigger question marks about why he's starting over Chowie.
Yeah, Westor obviously has, won both the games that he's participated in, but he hasn't had to have his champ pool challenged. He's been playing Malzahar. That's banned away now. We will see it different.
And AHQ right now is hoping that H2K reveal their top laner on this rotation, praying for the counter pick in mid lane, so that at least they can get Ziv a favorable matchup there. And H2K may decide against that and realize that Oruamne into Ziv is the most important matchup of this game.
I think you have to respect that. I think right now Ryu is a better player than Westor, especially in the laning phase, and that he can take something like a Cassiopeia, maybe something like a Ryze that can duel, and just throw the gauntlet at Westor straight away.
And I was ironically talking to Perks yesterday, and they were discussing how Ryze is a super strong meta pick right now. There was another mid laner joining the table, but can't say which because he's still in the tournament. But they were talking about how strong Ryze was as a pick. Quite ironic that it was Perks, of course, out of all people talking about that. But it seems that a lot of teams have a hard time finding a good pick into that Ryze.
Well, AHQ might be taking a chance on this one if the Aurelion Soul does get locked in, but we'll have to find out. Also, Jankos, very, very comfortable jungler for him in this Elise, was not challenged early on.
Yeah, Mountain going back to that Rek'Sai over Elise. I have a hard time judging it because when it works out, it looks so easy for a Rek'Sai, but it is up to the Elise to break up in the early game and look at the potential in the lanes. Gank early is possible with combo into Cocoon. Gank mid is possible with a point-and-click snare into a follow-up Cocoon. Oruamne generally plays some CC elements in the top lane, which means Jankos could likely visit all 3 lanes in the early game.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, as well as I think they have right now the superior 1-3-1, because they're going to most likely go towards something like a cannon for Ottawamne. So he's going to be able to sit top. Rise is uncontested when you look at AHQ's team comp. There is no one that can sit in a side lane against that. So unless there are big global plays coming out early, Westor's looking to take the teleport. It's a risky game plan.
And I would almost like to see a Poppy picked up somehow, some tank presence on Ottawamne, because if he plays a ranged champion, it's going to be a very delicate composition in the mid game for H2K. And they've shown that they aren't really that stable in the mid game when it comes to executing delicate or complex compositions. Instead, a simpler tank to buy some time in teamfights could be better.
Yep, and as the timer ticks down, we do got to shift back towards HQ's mid lane, because Lissandra's something that we talked a lot about pre-Worlds as possibly a big pick, but this is the first time it's actually made an appearance. So, curious to see how Westor pilots that one up against Ryu's Rise, and the last lock-in is going to be the Jace for Ottawamne.
It's a tough one for the Lissandra, because she can fall prey while pushing. She'll expose herself to ganks, and if the Rise combos perfectly with a flash snare, Lissandra is generally not bringing cleanse to the table. She runs teleport, so she can actually very easily die, because mid-E animation, there's enough crowd control between the snare and the cocoon to prevent the Lissandra from ever getting out.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And, you know, she kind of does half of each job. She does have some shove in the lane, as well as global presence through the use of teleport and all the CC. But you have champions that are doing, like Aurelion Sol, that do the roaming part better, and you have champions like Syndra that do the mid lane portion better. So it is kind of in between 2 areas.
I would love to see a gank workout from Jankos, because it's impossible to spell shield the new Alistar combo, which means with follow-up, Sivir could fall. And if Sivir gets behind in this comp, it will be very easy for H2K to itemize purely magic resistance and beat the remaining pressure points from AHQ.
Absolutely. Telegraphed from H2K. They know exactly what they want to do in this game, and AHQ are just going to hope to hold on to the roller coaster ride until it gets into that late game where they can move all across the map. Now, let us know who you think is going to be taking down the Nexus here today, everybody. If you think AHQ is going to be able to pull out another win, well, hashtag AHQ win. Or, of course, H2K win is your answer if you still believe in Europe. Hashtag H2K win LL Esports. This is still going to be very bloody very early on. If we know H2K, they are going to try and snowball.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, that's what you're looking at right here, but you also have more late game insurance because you do have the Alistar picked up. Sure, you still have some lane bullies. Actually surprised that Ottawamne went towards one as well. But right now, H2K, they've done the best they can to set themselves up for that successful early game.
Yeah, Ottawamne looking to be a bit of a carry here. Jace Elise can snowball top lane really hard, because Ziv will be pushing a little bit early. Take a quick gander over to Summer Spells as well. We have Cleanse on Ryu to really get out of the lockdown from Westor. And we need to follow rather Jankos in the early game and see where he goes.
Yeah, we always have to do that when Jankos is involved in the game. This is a slower starting team. H2K have played off against them. You know, a lot of people argue, well, if it wasn't for those positional mistakes and the errors they made in team fighting, they could have walked away very much with that win. But this is a brand new game. It's a brand new week.
Yeah, H2K got a big lead in the previous game, but they kept hiding around corners here. We see an evolution of the level 1 meta game. Albus face checking, Westor behind him. Hopefully punish somebody if they challenge, but Vander has to give over some gold and walk away.
Yeah, Westor was there too. They were looking for something cheesy level 1. Not going to get any more than a bit of damage.
And the last time a team tried something like this against H2K, it was actually Vander face checking.
Nope, we don't talk about it anymore.
And not coming away with an advantage. So good to see him just cede the advantage, cede the lane ward, and get away from it. It's the small things in tournaments where you have to take the victories where they are.
I think Ann and Albus are going for the freeze strat here, or they're looking to punish Forgiven and Vander when they walk back to lane. Forgiven and Vander right now are in a bind. They have a hard lane matchup if the level 1 plays out the way it does right here. So I really want to track what happens, especially if they have to leash for Jankos. They will have to walk back into a long lane here against double poke.
Yeah, very aggressive positioning. Jankos should at the very least have a little bit of health. Oh, he doesn't want it, so they're just going to move the lane a little bit later.
Yeah, they're moving with the wave. It's very important that you do that. If you move behind the wave, then Karma can just poke you off. But here, Ann and Albus immediately taking just poke on the minions, making sure that they solidify the push. That's why Vander is starting heal. He will not have access to combo until level 3, so it's up to Albus to abuse that. There's no Q flash pressure on level 2.
Yeah, there certainly isn't. And right now, all you do is you give up the rest of the minion wave because only one is going to most likely die. Not even one's going to die. So everything just hits the turret right now, and H2K play it safe and just farm up.
But there's only one minion miss, so in terms of efficiency, if they can farm on the turret, H2K can actually still get that CS advantage. Nope.
Might just do it. Oh! Oh, poor Forgiven. So 5-5. Oh well, not too far behind considering things.
But that's a perfect scenario. I mean, the second wave's going to shove in as well. This is going to be free level 2 for both bottom lanes, and the punish really didn't come through, apart from the fact that Forgiven missed a CS there. So you have to take your hats off to the European bottom lane. This is something that has surprised me time and time again. They do know how to play these tough matchups incredibly well.
Oh, they certainly do. We've seen it time and time again from them, and they're bringing it here on the world stage. Meanwhile, checking in on the mid lane, Ryu had started by pushing in really, really hard early on, but he's actually backed off, let this one even out, as they both hit the level 2.
Jankos left a little wolf smite on the right side of his jungle to spot a potential mountain invade. Very unlikely in this matchup that mountain would go for the early dive. He is clearing his bot side jungle, 2 camps into wolves, smoted as well. And then he got security of the Scuttle Crab just to make sure that he sees Jankos in river. But both of these junglers are trending towards the top lane.
Yeah, and the reason that you take the Scuttle Crab is because you think that they've started top side of the map on the Elise and that they're coming through river. Instead, probably going to be coming through the Tri-Barrage. So another lane ward, river ward goes down out of Ziv, scouting that possibility as well.
Seen a lot of pressure towards the top side teams trying to take down Ziv, and he has managed to outplay quite a few of them. Just need to look back at a couple of AHG's previous games to see that for yourself. But H2K, onus is still on them to make these big plays early, and that is always what they want to go for. So we keep on tracking Jankos through this jungle.
But good timing on the clear out of Jankos so far. He's putting on the hard farm, and we'll see whether he gets back down bottom in time to impact.
Yeah, and that actually prompted me to look for something, what you said there, Spawn, because level 1, Jankos received no leash on the right side of the map. Oduamne actually did the fake leash onto Krugs. So they actually confused AHQ with their location here. Jankos, for the first time, is actually going to confirm his jungle start to AHQ, and this is the first time they actually have an idea of what he was doing.
And he has access to the whole bottom side of the jungle, and right now the Rek'Sai is in an empty top side on the other side of the map.
Ooh, Westor!
Ballsy.
Yeah,
he stole it.
Bold.
Yeah, he got it. So no punish coming out there. I actually expected, with the CC they had, both of them to just flash on top of him. I mean, that's an aggressive move to actually take the claw over the wall.
I think the shift in forms may have still been on cooldown there for Jankos. Now Mountain, obviously Campus looking for a play in the top lane. Oduamne is usually good at sniffing these plays out. He's going for a ward.
Okay, now he knows. It goes through the acceleration gate. No problems for him.
But a good start from H2K. I really like the fake leash because it hides so much information. So much things are obscure there in Fog of War. H2K right now, they've used the wave bounce and the pressure from the jungler to actually start getting access to push here. And in a matchup where they should be winning, they're up 13 CS here, and there's quite a few creeps hidden in this wave, but let me see if Anna and Albus can get it without too much punishment.
And this is where Caitlyn really comes in, because she can challenge under turret with the traps, with the long range, like no other AD carry. Very rarely draws turret aggro, because look at the range on that. Great job out of Forgiven here, making sure that he's making them hurt for every CS.
Yeah, talked about ADCs being pretty stacked at this tournament. Well, unfortunately, An is not necessarily one of them. He's had so much trouble in CS overall, but he is catching back up.
Does reward H2K for going a more late game oriented pick ban by making a playmaking support a high priority in the Alistar, as opposed to just picking up another Nami, another Karma, and getting a major CS advantage. Because even with a lane matchup that loses on paper, Forgiven still finds him at 6 CS. And that, while it may seem small on paper, at 6 minutes, is actually quite a large deficit.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, when you take a range support in, you're supposed to be able to punish these lanes. So you're even maybe looking at equal to a CS advantage for Arn right now. The fact that it's the other way. And I just want to hit on Arn a little bit more, because this was supposed to be a guy that is a great hyper carry player and should have been coming back into his own at Worlds. Last Worlds performance was terrific out of AHQ's bottom lane. So, you know, you say that he isn't expected to be one of the high performances, but last year on the world stage, he certainly was.
That's definitely true. Although we heard a little bit more from Clement too about how this team has definitely changed its playstyle. It's all about the man on your screen, Ziv, and he's the one who really does get a lot of damage out and does huge things for the fights. Ziv does spend his TP to go back up at the top side, getting a careful ward there to stop any more aggression from Jankos. And, you know, has been 0-0 on the map here at 6.5 minutes. Nothing yet.
Yeah, look at the pressure. The zone pressure from Vander's combo is actually enough to thwart Anna and Albus back for the combo. There's no trap range here, so no point for Forgiven putting that down.
He gets it though. Not enough damage to finish the job, but there's another teleport coming in, canceled by Westor. So now they have no TPs left on the map. Ryu, it looks like he stopped it.
Yeah, it actually was Ryu charging in there to stop that teleport coming through. Now all of a sudden, Westor looking to be ganked as well. Whoa.
Right on. Okay, and now they're going to go back to Westor and just jump right onto him. Frozen Tomb, he's got the flash. He's going to heal up. Rek'Sai coming in. Jankos, does he have the damage to finish the job? He's going to repel right to the minions and bail out of harm's way.
honestly, really nicely played in multiple lanes right there from H2K. They scout out the gank mid lane. They don't overcommit, get out the flash as well as the ultimate. And bottom lane is now getting crushed.
Yeah, you see just the strength of that matchup, and the threat of the combo is enough to kind of beat the repetitive poke that comes out. Jankos now wins the Smile duel over Raptors here. H2K, they went even or slightly ahead on a play where they're additionally also burned a teleport. That really means a lot for them because now they can actually play without any breaks on. They don't have to worry about anybody teleporting into that bot lane. Forgiven can play his favorite lane bully style.
And that's exactly how they want to play this game overall in the map. Just snowball the game ahead. The gold lead may not be huge right now. They didn't get any kills out of it, but they have a massive summoner spell advantage, and they're going to take it wherever they can go. Yeah,
they certainly are, and now they have control of the push in multiple waves. All of a sudden, the jungle opens up. We'll see whether Jankos wants to continue to invade Mountain, who once again is on more of that team fight, farming jungler. The Elise certainly has the room that you want in the early game to get busy.
But we see very static lanes though. There's not much movement going on. No push being translated into roams here. Everybody's very stuck so in their lanes.
Yep. Staying where they are, and HQ, you know, we know they're a late game team. They have a pretty hyper-mobile comp, as you talked to about in the champion selection. If they can get grouped as 5, they can start getting a lot done, but it'll be a while before that happens.
Yeah, top laner still on an island here. A minor CS lead for Odoamne. Jankos still looking for that presence, looking for that first gank to really reclaim that mark of first blood king that he earned so many times over in the European region. Working together now with Ryu, this is good. River control is the first step to really get the map control out. And it makes people scared. Every time somebody hides in River, you got to take a step backwards here.
Especially this time we're playing with a Ryze. I mean, last game it was a Tahm Kench. Now it's Ryze that can take the team with him if he wants to be aggressive. That 2-second snare is so punishing.
Yeah, finds Mountain half health him, but now he's got to back off as Westdoor clawed over the wall. Jankos was not around, but Ryu is perfectly fine and safe on this.
And that's the power of Ryze as well. When he combos right, he gets that little surge in movement speed and really makes him very tricky to deal with. Because when you think he is finally committed into a fight and you can turn around, he'll just get that surge and he'll move away and he'll make you reveal yourself, which means your team can be expecting a cross-map play from the enemy team somewhere else on the map.
Yeah, he can just hit you so hard, so fast. So Ryu, we've definitely seen him make some solid plays on champions. I'm excited to see what he's able to do with this Ryze pick, and Westdoor being pushed back, even on the CS, but it's not going to be that way for long.
But maybe this is our criticism of H2K one more time, rearing its head a little bit early. I mean, they're winning the lanes, but they haven't really translated it to much else.
They are trying right now, a little bit of a roam here. Push mid, group up into the enemy jungle. Leave a few wards if they can. But Vander has opted for that very roam-centric build with Moby Boots, yet he has still to leave the lane here. So no sidestone to actually drop wards, and he's actually playing in lane with Moby Boots. A little counterintuitive.
Throw down the level 6 ultimate, tickles Albus as he has his shield up and available. Ryu continues to try and pressure this wave. They're just taking chip damage on and doing a little bit more if they can. That rune present, that root just takes a long time to get out of Westdoor. Still no summoners available for him. Remember the way those were burnt just a few moments ago as Odoamne, or a few minutes ago I should say, as Odoamne goes back up to top lane.
And once again, this is punishing. They are building CS advantages in the bottom lane, in the top lane. However, they still haven't really translated that into a meaningful objective. They're not even really getting all that much chip damage done to turret.
But we need to look at what this match means as well for H2K lineup. They come in here as the 2nd seed out of Europe. They had a big lead in many of their games, really solid laning phase, but somehow it always falls apart in the late game. And they found themselves already 1-0 down against AHQ, who's a win ahead in the standings. They desperately need to equalize here, because if AHQ gets the win, barring some miracle losses, H2K will be out, and even then if they tie, there will be a head-to-head advantage, which means AHQ will advance. So this matchup is the most important match for H2K in the entire day.
Yeah, completely agree. And this is also huge for confidence players. And when you look at people like Forgiven, people like Vander, they are very much spurred on by their own success. So if they have a great laning phase, all of a sudden all those problems slip away, and they're able to use that to continue the success throughout the day.
It's very inherent to pro teams. Whenever you're winning, everybody's talking. Everybody wants to contribute and build on that success and snowball it forward. But when you hit some of these setbacks, people get silent. They don't feed every little bit of information that could prove useful here. And things get a lot tougher to deal with, especially if you don't have that single guy, like an Afro move, for example, that can step up and really lead the charge, even in the tough moments.
You need to keep yourself on the positive mindset. You need to keep the train rolling and definitely don't slam on the brakes. That's the way H2K wins games. We've seen it time and time again in Europe and how it's fallen apart from them when they have not been able to keep on the up and up. HQ, though, they're just the polar opposite style of team. They just get it all together in the late game.
Yeah, they certainly do tend to execute better in the late game, but this is a team that is also, even themselves said they're a little bit prone to tilt, especially their jungle amount can get a little bit emotional during the game. And I think it's worse for AHQ if they lose this game, because they've already stated pretty publicly that they're terrified of EDG. So they're looking at this day. This needs to be the win for them if they're going to make it out of the group cleanly without having to go through tiebreakers, which is just a whole new element.
Yeah, big matchup here. Everybody wants to kind of have something happen, but every time they walk bot lane, they're quickly reminded that there's 2 teleports on the side of AHQ. So H2K pivot, they move to the left side, pick up a dragon alongside the way. They have much more vision control in the top lane too. 3 pink wards over there, so maybe Jankos should start playing towards the top side.
Of course, the fight, the smite does.
He's low.
Jankos is a little bit low here. He's going to have to flash, and Vander headbutts away. Westor is going all in on this one. Forgiven, safe distance. Ryu, they just want to run away. They don't want any part of that fight.
Perfect disengage because Ziv had roamed down, and all of a sudden now Odoamne in the top lane, 20 CS lead, as well as the access to the turret. That's going to be one of those teleports burnt. So it looked horrible for H2K, but they actually get the maximum out of that play.
Yeah, Westor with a flash to dodge the pulverize, but no idea what would happen next there. They do get Vander's flash in the back end, but H2K is definitely happy with this.
Teleport pop. Vander wants to go in here. Mountain Forgiven just on. The leash was on Albus, but it doesn't matter. The teleport for Odoamne instantly exhausted. Ace in the hole is going to nail onto the back of the head, and this is going to be it. First blood over to Ryu.
Coordination out of H2K. Ziv teleports top, Odoamne teleports bottom, and they come up with first blood. That is beautiful to see.
Yeah, the good old switcheroo here by H2K. They get the advantage. Ziv walks down, TP's up, and just like we said, Odoamne completely catches AHQ off guard. But now it's a race for the first turret here. Actually, it's not really a race because Ziv is the only one hitting a tower. So this is how the cross map could actually prove beneficial for AHQ. And they kind of get surprised here because they don't expect Banner to go in.
Yeah, they certainly don't. I mean, Vander, hard commit, gets 2 members, and then Odoamne is on the back end of it. Unfortunately, doesn't have that much mana, but they isolate Mount. They're able to take him down.
But very important, the entire AHQ bot lane lost all their summoners. Both flashes, exhausted, Healog, burned, which means next time Vander goes in for a combo into trap combination, that could prove lethal.
Yeah, and I think even beyond that, the fact that they've now got rid of one of the globals and Westor doesn't have a flash because of that whole train of events means that Arn and Albus aren't playing great in the 2v2, and they're isolated, they're alone, and Forgiven and Vander are going to keep punishing this lane. As long as it stays standard, H2K should be in the advantage.
Yeah, but I like what Vander's doing here. When he goes to the base, he actually runs mid, and he's actually building out the layers of vision that are required. Putting them wards around the mid lane so Ryu can play aggressively and use that pressure point to then translate into movement into the enemy jungle here. So H2K playing a bit more like a team.
Now they're enabling themselves. Odoamne, though, he is going to be in some trouble. The red carpet's thrown down. He flashes right away from it. Jankos tags in. They look for Ziv. They take him down. The teleport's still going. Odo's still alive. Jankos is going to get the pick on the mountain. Westor's here. The shock blast doesn't go. Jankos decides to opt out. He gets taken out by Westor, but the claw does not finish in time. He gets the double onto Odo, though. A 2 for 2. All said and done.
2 for 2 in the end. It looked like Odoamne was positioning for a big, bold flash over the wall, and all of a sudden they turn it around. Ryu also joins the party because he had the push. It cost Westor his teleport, so in that equal kill trade, they get another teleport down in advantage.
Yeah, and this is actually great play out of Ziv. He goes aggressive because he knows Mountain's there, and this was a surprise because Odo actually comes back towards his jungle, and there is so much burst damage coming out right now. Good teleport out of Westor, but honestly, this could have been much worse.
Yeah, but it was so close to Odoamne just instantly dropping there, though. The flash knockup saved him from the equalizer that was his impending doom. Stayed around, very close at the end, 2 for 2, but Ryu also getting some extra gold right there, and that Rise is scaling into a monster.
And 2 kills for the Lissandra, however, so even though he's been bullied constantly, Westor has been able to keep up in farm, and now he's going to be able to keep up overall in gold. On 20 CS, he's starting to fall down a little bit, but H2K still controlling this with a 3K gold advantage.
Yeah, and it depends how H2K wants to play, because right now you can see they've taken down top turret. They've now got Ryu in that side lane, and honestly, there's just no way anyone can go anywhere near him in a 1v1. The machine gun, it's just too much damage, and whilst Westor is scaling up to good teamfight relevance, if they ever get isolated in a 1-3-1 right now, H2K should have the advantage.
Yeah, both teams can commit for the 1-3-1, but HQ much more likely to go for the double TP flank into a straight-up team fight. But H2K, it is their preferred style. When they actually don't have the greatest team fights, but they're ahead individually in these lanes, why not play 1v1 with the Ryze on the side lane? This is Ryu's favorite style. Long time ago, he loved playing LeBlanc on side lanes too, and have H2K dominate the map that way.
And I think that the biggest thing is we don't see much 1-3-1 internationally, because if it goes wrong at any stage, there's very low margin for error. So in a best of one situation, if you want to commit to it, it is punishing if the teams do get the deep wards and are able to set up those flanks.
It's a very delicate strategy that is started by basically people making decision-makings in split seconds. The likes of a Mata can suddenly thwart you. When you think you're fine, he suddenly flash combos out, and your entire 1-3-1 strategy falls apart, because you need all 5 members on the map doing their thing. But if it works, it's a very suffocating, correct strategy that can really make your enemies just feel horrible. It sucks playing against a well-played 1v1.
Yeah, and that's something that H2K have shown they are capable of doing, at the very least in Europe. If they can pull it off here against AHQ, we'll have to see, as Ryu respects the claw this time around, walking back, but they still keeping up the pressure in the mid lane, the top. They had that first brick tower gold on the top side as Mountain and Albus rove into the jungle. Jankos is going to be on the other side of them.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you can see right now AHQ want to fight over vision, because if there's one thing they have got, it is a lot of magic damage right now with penetration, and they're grouping up around the dragon. So one more time you can see H2K going in there trying to get rid of vision, but the damage is done. You can see the deep ward, one in the lane, one just on the opposite side of blue buff. If a fight breaks out, they will have Zid's teleport available, and they will be able to go for the flank.
You have to be ultra careful of that equalizer. Good poke damage here early. Westor already half HP, making him afraid of committing to the fight here. Forgiven ideally has to be in the river right now, shutting off some of these entrances with traps. Let's see if he goes for his conventional build. A lot of Caitlyn players like maxing traps. Forgiven usually goes heavy into Q, but he actually has level 5 traps right now, so he can spam them out.
All right, Dragon's being started. Ryu just keeps on shoving magic right down its throat.
Forgiven's not there though. He is dealing
here
with a pink ward, so Forgiven prioritizing a pink ward in his own lane while his team is desperately trying to get Dragon, which means HQ can shove them off. H2K again going for the lane push, and this is something we were talking about here. Isolated, not on the same page as a team.
Yep. Managed to shove him back, and Otawamne had to be coming down through the mid. He's no safe way to do it, so vision control seeded over to Mountain here.
And
he's
as
going to bail
soon as
out.
you have access to that mid lane, you can force them off the objective, because they have to go the long way around. But I think, you know, maybe a mistake here out of Mountain, because he actually goes to clear out a minion wave and allows them to just walk back straight into river, get that mid lane priority, and look to shove up one more time.
Yeah, this Dragon Dance, very delicate, subtle, but we have to repeat really what Forgiven was doing there. Going that far into lane for an extra little ward here. Ryu, super aggressive, showing why he is a good side laner with the Ryze pick. And more importantly, the Sivir ulti is burned, which gives H2K much more room for opportunity in this Dragon contestation.
And they've given it away. I mean, you can see right now, Ziv, he's just walked back top lane. They don't want anything to do with this anymore, because the wave is just way too big, and H2K should be able to start this one up now they have that new information.
It's pretty solid for H2K. They play around the fact that they know there's cooldowns that AHQ just can't match. A Mountain could try to go for a desperate steal. He goes in. It's going to get low. It's going to get smited away by Jankos. He says absolutely no way today. Mountain tried for the effort, and Ziv gets caught. The burst damage is huge, but he instantly flashes out of the way. Vander, the tether's on, but he has an unbreakable will. Westor looked for something, but he couldn't find it in mid. And for H2K, that 8% is going to be big the longer the game goes on.
And it's the little things as a color caster that make you happy, Crepo. Ziv flashes a headbutt pulp. He respects the damage that was going to come out. He does manage to live. Sure, the dragon goes down, but nothing else really falls. And H2K, they see an objective. They're actually going to see the second turret. That lead is growing rather quickly.
They're snowballing here. They made up for the small mistake in letting the dragon reset. They took it very calm, pushed all the lanes. Ryu is becoming a monster on the rise. He can solo force splashes out and always has the cleanse splash himself to get out of the harm's way. So that was great. And now they're picking up these residual turrets that they chipped down earlier on the side lanes.
Haven't had any trouble, but Otawamne might just be in it. Knocks Ziv back, but Mountain is right at his flank. And he's got no mana. He's got nothing to work with. Just a flash trying to make his escape. And Jankos comes to the rescue, but just too late. Mountain picks up the return kill.
Using your gap closer into a minion wave usually spells out death, and Otawamne has to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a little bit of a brain fade there out of Otawamne, honestly, and that gives them control of the top side.
But it does mean cross map for H2K, and they get access to mid lane turret here, which is actually important. You can trade kill for tower plus forward tower if you get the mid lane turret, because it's so important to hold, especially when a team is playing 1-3-1. Now Forgive is actually chipping down mid lane turret with half HP already.
They're not even done. Ryu's going to have to cleanse away as he was locked down by the ultimate from Westdoor, but they still are able to make their escape. Mountain was trying to come in for a flank, but that is going to be nothing, doing one tower and half the health of the second.
And this is actually a sign of a team that is on the same page, because all of a sudden they give away a kill. It's a silly kill, but at least cross-map they're able to make the best out of a bad situation. Sure, they trade 1 for 1, but that should really have been a big punish out of AHQ.
I believe the phrase is calculated smart.
Yeah, very calculated here from H2K. They realized Odoano was overextended in the top lane, and they take down the most important structure in the game. If you get rid of mid lane turret, it means that your 3-man squad in the 1v1, which is usually the strongest, can always get the priority. And that way, you can protect your side lanes by going for deep vision in the jungles on either side, and then you can squeeze and suffocate the opponent here by using the stronger 1v1 matchups that you generated by either picking well or winning lane, of which both H2K have done this game.
And this is why I actually love Caitlyn. I mean, I just like Hurricane users in general, but Caitlyn does it the safest along with Jinx. You can just park a mid. They can walk up, meet the wave. They have the traps to keep you off the turrets. This actually makes turret diving like obnoxiously hard at this stage of the game, as well as the fact that you've got an Elise and you've got an Alistar to keep that anti-dive pressure there.
Yeah, look at the lane assignments. Right now, H2K, it looks like they're playing around Baron, and my heart always stops just a little bit once I see H2K moving towards the purple worm. They've shown, honestly, horrendous Baron control in the entire year. Let's see if they finally learn how to quickly close it out, or if this is a window for HQ to get back into the game.
Well, they do have a lot of pressure. Trap line set up on the mid lane. 3-3 maybe in kills, but that gold lead is still pretty good for them. 4,000 and decent bit of it's in those towers as everyone backs away, and it looks like it's time for a Baron dance.
Yeah, everybody backs away. More vision is needed, more items have to be bought, more pink wards have to be brought to the table. But you saw how easy it was for Jankos to move in, albeit shallow, into the enemy jungle. How easy it was for Vander to contest some wards beyond the equal line point, which is the river here on the map. Scuttle Crab goes to Jankos. That's very important. So H2K are definitely taking the steps right. Bit of a waste of a sweeper to do it immediately, but they're choking out the Baron vision. H2K are forcing the vision line forward, and AHQ are looking at a lot of fog of war right now.
Yeah, and now you have to see whether they're patient enough to go through all of the steps to make sure that they keep control of that river, they sweep out the shallow wards, and when AHQ try and pull the trigger, that the Ryze ulti is ready, that the teleport is there to be able to kick them back out. You can't do this. You can't cede control back over straight away to AHQ, because it just means you have to start the whole process again.
But it's fine. As long as you have sweepers off cooldown, you can sweep the entire river in one sweep, as long as you have control of mid and top. Basically start at the brush that you see on your screen right there, and then path to the left. You need a helper though. Supports can't just hit all those wards themselves. But these wards are not an issue for H2K. They just need to be able to push top and mid at the same time. So hopefully they don't get caught sweeping.
Well, Forgiven's definitely been able to make do parking mid here and just pushing away. No danger to him, and the vision coverage does get reestablished as Jankos goes through, not sweeping out, though that one ward that AHQ do have placed. Very clutch spot.
And no pink ward here on Jankos.
Here they go.
Looking for the sweep. Vander, not liking the pathing there. Very nitpicky when it comes to that, but I feel like if you work together with your support and your jungle, you can sweep that entire area in one smooth motion, and then you can save the second sweep for when it's necessary. But at least they catch every single ward over the wall, and AHQ right now are looking into the darkness.
And I think that the important thing here is a vision denial, because Ryu also picked up a sweeper and can kind of sweep his 1-3-1 because he wants to disappear into fog of war and set up a trap like this. Not going to be able to grab it this time.
Now they need to retreat though. This is too deep for H2K, and this is very often where they made the mistake of over-chasing. They need to leverage the advantage that they have, which is this super dark river, and they need to force AHQ to face check. More importantly, they go back to mid, so it does look like they're following each and every of the steps. It is, however, incredibly hard to bait into a Rek'Sai, so you gotta stay frozen in place.
That may be true, but it's already evident that H2K's decision-making looks so much better than we saw in week number 1. They're not over-chasing right now. They are doing all the steps, as you guys were saying. It may be a little while, but H2K, they're setting themselves up for victory here.
And you have to say, you know, with the likes of the Caitlyn just parked mid lane, still waiting on the second Zeal item, there is a big window where H2K will still get stronger the longer this game goes. Jace is no slouch in the late game. And you can see that Ryu is just going to keep scaling up. I mean, he gets fragile the later the game goes until he can get some resistances, but still pumps out massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, massive damage on that Ryze. River's dark. So I'm just kind of soloing the Dragon. It reminds me of the Vladimir solo Elder Drake here because so much of the attention of both teams is going towards that Baron. And it's kind of left alone. And this is good for H2K.
Yeah.
They stay in control of the Baron area. They don't have to yield the vision here. And they still get an objective on the other side of the map. That's exactly what they want to do.
AHQ not really able to see much, and they're not getting any chances to kind of react to it. H2K picked themselves up a second Cloud Drake, I should say. They already have the Infernal, and they go right back to clearing out the vision.
And we're hitting
being pushed back.
The breaking point. The last single ward on Albus' side zone has just been used. There is only one blue trinket remaining right now that will be used promptly. If H2K can sweep this ward out, it's getting very tricky here for AHQ. Blue buff contestation comes out. Albus desperately wants the base here, but they send on back first. So one by one, HQ has to return to base, and at any point, H2K technically could rush this Baron.
Looks like they're going to push a little bit further in and clear out some more Rek'Sai tunnels, as well as one more ward. Odoamne keeping his place down on bottom and keeping Ziv occupied. Teleports available for everyone on this map. All the summoners are up. This game's going to be a powder keg.
Yeah, Forgiven found the ward in the back here. And look at it, back to mid lane control. Don't let your traps just get contested here. Keep that wall up, the zone. Force them on their side of the map here, and then start the Baron with 2 man. It's quiet, but peekaboo, says Wextor. He finds out, and suddenly everything starts falling down again.
Albus is there. Jankos, he's just going to get bursted out of this one. Albus does take him down. Teleports flying to get the headbutt pulled, and they just nail Westar in the back of the head. Vander finishes off the kill. Forgiven inside the pit, trying to take down On, but the summoner heal comes through. Mountain over the wall, ejects. Ziv is going down. So H2K, despite losing their jungler, managed to pick up this fight, and they party portal in, looking for On, and they cut off AHQ. That's one more kill. What else can they get? Goodbye, Mountain, unless he can keep the tunnels going. Ace in the hole will not be enough, and he makes his great escape.
But now you need to turn around, go back to the Baron.
Beautiful Rise ultimate on the back end of that play though by Ryu. Completely surprises AHQ. Just the way H2K was surprised themselves by the Lissandra peek around the corner. Their jungler is still in the base here, so this is a little bit risky.
Certainly is. Tunnel comes back out there. No, there is none around the Baron pit. They have the damage to get it done.
Oh! He got it! Are you kidding me?
Somebody blocks that counter Q. How can you let him do that? That's impossible.
The most ridiculous Baron steal. Albus is a hero.
How can she Q?
H2K is heartbroken right now. That is...
It doesn't make sense. The guy literally has a line projectile. You stand in the bloody way and body block that.
That is the kind of move that tilts a team off the face of the earth. And you got to see how they rate. Let's see this one more time.
I mean, this is a team fight, so this is Jankos getting caught.
Yeah, they start by doing the Baron 2-man while their mid lane is pushing and their top laner is not there. That's a mistake. Like, you don't have to be that cheesy if you're H2K. But they fight it up beautifully. Look at Forgiven in this fight. He isolates on, sidestep the Q, he'll get a trap onto Ziv, and look at the power of Hurricane Caitlyn on these trap shots. He's really doing a lot of zoning as well. The Rise ultimate comes out, and it looks so great. H2K minorly over chase, but then how the bloody hell does Karma steal that Baron?
Yeah, I know, and the beautiful thing is he actually missed Baron with the Q just then at the start of the team fight, so aggro didn't go over onto Forgiven, but we're about to see them start it off. And they have the perfect way to block it. They have an Alistar.
Yeah, but the reason they get so afraid is because people are dying to Nashor. Vander's not tanking it. This team is like, Vander, come tank it. Vander wants to peel. Like, look what Vander's doing. Why? Where is he walking? Vander! Block the Q! No!
Oh, this is heartbreaking.
Why?
151 damage.
Vander was looking at Rek'Sai on the map, but still.
All right, back to main game. 31 minutes in. Let's take a look at the damage report. That gold gap has really started to seal up. You can see the towers being picked up by HQ. Is Baron buff still on 3 members?
I mean, we're not done ranting yet, because the whole premise of Baron is that whoever is tanking him deals half the damage to Baron. If the support tanks him, your entire team rather deals more damage here. Right now, looking for a pick though.
Almost there. Ooh boy, I don't think they want to take that one.
Massive failure for H2K. Let's look to the future. Can they get ahead again? Because they still have a minor gold lead.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, they still have the ingredients for success. They've still got an incredibly fed Rise. They've got all the dragons available. And Forgiven's hit 3 items as well as a QSS. This is going to be incredibly difficult to deal with the Caitlyn, but pushing into Baron now and just the mental, I guess, battle you have to fight right now with yourself to pull yourself back into this game.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Crappa, you said H2K. I've had some troubles with Baron. That's not even kidding. All right, finish off the second tier tower. Still have this gold lead. It's 32 minutes on the clock. We have another Infernal in a minute. Baron buff should be gone by then. And 45 seconds still ticking, and they definitely got some work done with it. But H2K seem to have stemmed the push.
And that's a 5-item rise. Infernal Drake coming up in a minute. The dream right now is that you bait AHQ one more time into playing that loose and risky play. Get back control over the area.
I mean, H2K is fine. If you just watch this match and you tune in right now and you look at what we have in front of us, we have a super fed Rise. We have a Caitlyn that's at least ahead of the Sivir here on a player like Forgiven. H2K is in a prime position to win this game. The problem is these guys are prone to tilt. They have to fight themselves and AHQ at the same time at this point because that was such a defeating blow. The way they calmly played out every single step of that Baron dance, almost to perfection, only to fumble at the end and have it stolen by a support.
Mistakes can be made. All time will tell to see if they manage to push back into this one. Down goes the red carpet. Jankos Vander tanking it up. Vander has a lot of health bars still left to go, and they've rooted Mountain up. He tries to go back, but Jankos is isolated, and the rest of the team collapses on him. He goes golden. Can they save him in time? Repels up and away. He's going to come back down, and so is Westor. Golden, and now Mountain's getting fired down. This is such a tense fight. In goes Odo. It's hammer time. H2K have triumphed. They got one kill on the board, and they keep on chasing. Looking for on Flash, Rude, he's gonna go out of it, and he's got no more spell shield. Forgiven with the pickup.
You could see H2K was constantly thinking about turning that fight. The second all the engagement tools get used on an Alistar support and he doesn't drop, H2K was in prime position. Minor overreaching from Jankos, but at that point onwards, the re-engage from Westor actually opened the door for H2K.
But you can see time and time again, if they're not on Ryu or they're not on Odoamne, this team does not want to commit because there is so much damage left in the H2K lineup right now. And AHQ just handing the cookie jar. They kept trying to reach back in, and it got slapped away.
Yeah, this mid-game macro that we talked about, you know, the cohesion of this team, it wasn't there. It was a brute force engage on the enemy support. And it also shows why H2K was wise to pick up the Alistar, because if this was a Nami right here, or a Karma, he would be dead. But they engage here on the jungle and support. Look at Vander, he's soaking up so much damage. Everybody right here is looking to turn the second this equalizer kind of phases out, because Ryu is untouched. Odoamne comes in with his own flank. Jankos has to buy time, but right here, it actually looks really good because Forgiven's putting some really good traps down, and Westor doesn't get the kill off.
Yeah, and that's an overreach out of Westor. I mean, you can't afford to fly in like that. It leaves them wide open to the counter engage, and this is the power of Rise. Gets back into the backline and deletes off.
Yeah, but Odoamne played that really well from the side. He continuously had flank pressure without exposing himself to re-engagement. Definitely, honestly, for me, MVP of that fight.
Individual performances have definitely been great for H2K, but what's really impressing me here is the teamwork that they showed in that fight. They've made mistakes. We talked about mental issues and what they have trouble with when they lose things like Barons like that, but now they get everything they want. They have 4 dragons on the board. The next will be Elder. Baron's going to respawn. They have a dead inhibitor in the middle. This is all the ingredients for a really successful win.
And some team comps don't get that much value from an Infernal Dragon, but when you have triple damage composition with the Jace, Ryze, and Caitlyn, and you have a magic-based jungler that can actually isolate and 1v1 targets, this double Infernal Drake gives you so much benefit.
Yeah, it certainly does, especially if they start going towards things like Death Cap on the likes of Ryu, because that's just going to be insane. He's got the max mana, he's got the max AP build coming out there. And honestly, it was already a worrying sign that no one could go to a side lane. He's twice their items right now, although Jankos might be caught again.
He does get caught. He does dodge most of the damage, though, fortunately, and they start to turn around on them. On Albus, Westor, all here with Mountain, but not going to get anything done.
And Ziv has a hard time just staying in base for that Home Guards teleport because he constantly has to deal with Odoamne threatening the bot lane.
Vander, speaking of threatening, they start to push forward here onto this tower. A big wave of minions, keeping them healthy. Thanks to the Alistar. And they just keep on shoving through. Baron is going to hit the rift again.
Yeah, and there's no flank. Vander is on flank protection, so it's very easy for them to take these towers down, push AHQ in their base, and then eventually all the wards have kind of faded, except maybe a boot trinket that seems to be in the Baron pit. That's the only ward on the map, and that likely isn't a yellow trinket or a normal ward. So H2K right now, we can get like vision toggle. AHQ are looking at darkness both in river and in their jungle. It's still a single ward alive. He finally gets swept out. Look at how dangerous it is for HQ to face check here. But why is Forgiven in the mid lane? I'm confused.
They peel off the Baron. That's all right. Looks like they were going for the Baron.
That was a free Baron.
They're going to start chasing down Albus. Oh, they've got the catch on him now, and he has got nothing in the tank. Can't use that flash. Exhaust was burned. Westdoor goes in for a desperation move as everyone moves around. Mountain takes out Forgiven off the screen, but they still get a 2-for-1. Odo is going to be caught between 3 members here. This is getting a bit messy, and Odo is going to have to bail out. They're going to go for Baron.
But still, H2K is no longer playing as a unit. They're going for mid push when they have complete vision advantage. They could have rushed down the Baron and letting Vander play goalkeeper, just keeping the smite out. And at that point, it was so easy for H2K to secure the final objective for them to win the game. But again, we have to criticize the final steps.
Yeah, you certainly do. And I mean, when you have a look at it, when the super creeps are doing the job for you, sure, they get the catch, but we're going to see on the back end what happens here. Forgiven just honestly walks into multiple members.
And that is not a top 5 AD carry at Worlds play. And that's exactly what what Forgiven wants to be here.
Ryu is going to pop into the pit. Baron's helping him out here. Best friend to Ryu. And he gets another one on. Jankos goes for it. Teleport in the back. Not going to be needed. That should start off the Baron. Westdoor is still 3 seconds away.
Ryu is a man possessed right now. I mean, honestly, he should take the biggest bow after this game if they manage to pull it out, because 505 has just been everywhere and makes clutch play after clutch play when his team needs it.
Definitely stepping up here in week 2 of Worlds. His team needs to rely on at least one constant in H2K, and is Ryu picking a late game powerhouse on the rise. And right now, there is no jungle on H2K or AHQ router, which means H2K finally get a clean Asher and they can finally start pushing for the win.
And Albus was nowhere near that one, so no fear this time around. H2K, they have themselves 6,000. I know you're still tilted by that.
You have to laugh. You just have to laugh.
Quick, somebody is the support close. Hi, the Baron.
I mean, they've started to pick it up. There were still a few mistakes, but now we see the end game approaching. And its name is Rabadon's Death Cap, if you're Ryu. Look at that build right now.
And 918 ability power on that rise.
This is the game where you hate playing Sivir, because you only have one spell shield, and that guy's coming for you every single team fight.
He's been fantastic on his ultimates as well. The Realm Warp, like 1 or 2 people flashing forward and just instantly deleting people by machine gunning them down. It's been fantastic to see. H2K now pushing towards this bottom side. There's not a whole lot of towers outside the base remaining. In fact, there are none. Just one.
Still strength in numbers for AHQ. Ideally, they want a 5-man team fight, and H2K's way to deal with that is still splitting. They have a really good split push composition. They have not used the top lane. They're going for a 4-1 here with Vander postured in between because they want to isolate Ryu, because he can 1v1 anything. He can likely even 2v1 people. So they need to be careful though. Don't get anybody picked off going too deep. If H2K play it slow, they can take the entire base without even having to commit to a single fight.
And you know, if they have Oda playing, they will play opposite ends of the map. But with Ryu, because of the ultimate range, he does have to be a little bit closer. And now Westdoor, that was aggressive.
Those ace balls are starting to hurt.
Buffered combo from Vander too, just in case some flash shenanigans comes out. Oda pass to the bot lane. I would like to see somebody pick up that top wave, but it's path too far away. So H2K is actually going to commit to a 5-man push in the bottom lane. The traps are a good zoning tool here, but this could be the window for HQ.
Yeah, I think what you do here is you try on a couple of waves. You've got your big wave coming in right now. If it doesn't work, you go to Dragon, but they're going to force a fight.
Flank TP is going to get canceled, so that summoner is burned from Westdoor. Ziv's still holding on to his, but they have got sight on everyone else of AHQ. Playing this out safely and cautiously.
This is exactly why H2K is so hesitant to go for the 5-man push, because a good equalizer and a self-cast ulti on Westdoor could completely turn around that gold advantage that H2K have procured so far.
Yeah, they certainly have, and that top wave is just growing bigger and bigger. Now maybe a Rek'Sai flank is all they have left.
Pushing on this tower, there's not much left in the tank here for HQ. Albus's health bar is melting. He's going to have to speed himself up. The party portal is not going to get taken, and they just used to secure themselves an inhibitor. Westdoor, desperate charge. They delete him off the map. The red carpet's rolled out, but it's H2K who are marching down the base. Mountain, Albus on, the last defenders left, and H2K just don't care.
And Ryu deletes Ziv on the back end of that team fight. There's not enough members left to defend. They want to end the game.
Trapstone comes out. Desperate hold here, but only jungle and support combined with the AD carry. There's almost no damage on ASQ. This could be the final push.
H2K, they are looking to finish this game, and they get a triple knockup. That is going to be it. It's all Nexus, and H2K are gonna do it right on top of the fountain. Let the minions take the game. H2K earn redemption.
And this is such an important win for this group for H2K because they proved that they can carry on the momentum from winning those lanes individually and snowball it to enough of an advantage that they can actually afford mistakes in the mid game.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, because that Baron play would have been enough to, you know, break the mentality of, you know, most teams coming into this backs against the wall, already playing against someone that is one win up over you. You know you're chasing them, and they bring it back from the brink.
And for AHQ, they still have their fate in their own hands, because I think at the end of the day, they can still tie H2K for a tiebreaker. But we've seen when they get big losses that the internal synergy of the team kind of collapses, and all eyes now have to be on Mountain if he can both carry them in and out of the game, because he was the main guy speaking out about it. You know what? I need to fix my attitude. I can't be the not-so-great teammate anymore. I need to become a leader. Let's see if he has trained himself in those areas in the last few weeks and can make it shine today.
Absolutely. But for H2K, I mean, this is just such a massive win from them, especially after the heartbreaking loss they suffered last week, going 1-2. Yeah, I know. And they recover so well after this Baron misplay, after the mistakes. This is evolution.